Hercubot and towards Kevin.
Well, right now, bans coming pretty quickly in this one. Udi a banned out towards Hercubot. Shen taken away from Kevin. On the other side, SK not going to let Nunu get through for Cyanide.
And that's the weird thing, is that Cyanide on his Nunu, he's missed so many smites, unfortunately for him. So it's kind of a little bit of a trade-off. But I mean, we know Cyanide. Maybe it's just like a fluke in that day where he is like one of the best smite stealers in the game. So don't let him play that. Don't let him play something that's a little bit comfortable to him. And let's see what's going to be round out next.
Yeah, 3/4 of the games that they've played with Nunu in the lineup, they've won as well. So, statistically strong champion to take out. We all know how good Nunu is right now on the 3.8 patch. Twisted Fate taken out. We don't want no Twisted Fate there for Xpeke. They've got bad memories, of course, of not just Twisted Fate, just backdoors in general. They're just not a fan of when it comes to playing against Fnatic. We'll see what Fnatic actually ban out here finally. Obviously, they've put one ban towards Hercubot, one towards Kevin, and the final one will actually go towards Nif there with that Thresh.
No, I think if SK could ban one Summoner spell right now as their last ban, I think they would take away Teleport to stop any potential ganks coming in that way, because Xpeke, he's actually kind of switched around in how he plays. He's been running Teleport lately, and it's been actually working out well for him. So we're going to see what SK bans out here, but the Thresh, we know Nif. Like, if he lands a hook, they just collapse and kill him every time. So don't let him play something that exactly once says, not going to believe that one, but I was on his face.
Perfectly timed there. We switch over to Soaz, who of course had Teemo selected for a little while. Not going to be Teemo, but at least is a definite for him. He's won 3 out of 4 games here in the summer split, sorry. But the spring split is obviously where he really put up the numbers there, having pretty much 100% win ratio with him. On the other side now, it's looking like SK possibly going to go for a Rumble, a champion that Kevin has gone with. We've been seeing less and less and less. The final one being really key there, because we've really not seen much Rumble whatsoever here in Europe.
The one game he did play it though, the split, he stomped so hard. Like I remember him back in the spring split. It was, to me, his best champion. You saw him playing it against Gambit in particular, I can think of, where he would just constantly push that top lane over and over, making Gambit deal with him. But it looks like he's actually not going to be going for it here, Joe.
No, going to be going in for a Lissandra here. And also Nami going to be picked up for Nif. Has obviously played Nami before, 2 games, lost both of them here. So not maybe the best of luck for SK so far to have this Nami in the team. But let's see what Fnatic go for you, because on the jungle side of things, Udia's gone, Nunu's gone out of there. So, the likes of Jarvan, in my opinion, are going to be big in this game.
That's exactly what I was just thinking, because Hercubot is a big Jarvan player, but so can Cyanide, and neither of the teams have really locked that in right away. And seeing the Elise picked from Fnatic as their first pick, I don't really think Lissandra needed to be picked right away, because usually it was Soaz playing Lissandra, then Xpeke would combo in with something else. But a jungler would definitely be a good move for them right now. They don't necessarily need to pick a support, but they obviously can.
The good thing is about picking Lissandra now, though, is of course that SK have last pick. So that Lissandra could go in the top or the mid lane, depending on what Fnatic go with. So we are going to be seeing Varus Sona locked in here. Fnatic decided they want to get that combo in there as early as they possibly can before SK actually go in on that front. Yellow Star won both games that he's played so far with Sona. Same story for Pushu on Varus.
Yeah, so, I mean, we have right now over on SK side where the Nami they haven't really won on that just yet, but then you have 2 champions where Fnatic has won 100% so far. So in terms of that, it looks like Fnatic is going to be looking pretty good in this game. But, SK, they can always catch you off guard. It looks like potentially Candy Panda would go for Vayne, which we did see yesterday. He was 3-0, but unfortunately, the rest of his team wasn't doing too well, and he kind of wasn't able to do the damage. He was forced into a very early QSS, but the enemy Rise just completely shut him down either way.
And Hercubot might lock in Lee Sin here. Now, this is actually a incredible thing to see, because Hercubot, the times where Diamond was playing Lee Sin in the jungle, Hercubot was probably the second best Lee Sin player around. He was known at that time as an incredible Lee Sin player. So we're going to see him bring that out here today. Obviously, Jarvan just being completely ignored up until this point. We'll see if Cyanide actually decides to go from that one. He's got a 50% win ratio with Jarvan at this stage of the summer split. And he is hovering over that Jarvan right now. Twitch as well as Varus, I don't see though.
Just trying to think if they could run one of those in the solo lane, but it wouldn't be as strong as maybe like an Ezreal or obviously a Caitlyn, but it looks like he's just toying around with a couple of different champions. But I've been trying to think ever since you mentioned Hercubot on Lee Sin. I remember us casting was EPS or something back in the day. I don't remember what team he was on necessarily, but wow, he was phenomenal on it. And with everyone bringing him back, we're seeing Arnea play him. We saw Dexter play him. We even saw Diamond play him once. Obviously didn't work out too well for him. I'm curious to see how well he's been keeping his Lee Sin going.
Well, Fnatic here locking in that Jarvan, and also a Ryze picked up for this one. I think that's a fairly safe pick at this time, knowing that SK could bring a different champion into that middle lane, because they can technically move that Elise into the mid lane as well and have Ryze in the top, depending on which matchup they really want to be going for in this. So let's see what SK go for as their final pick. And we talked about how Oslo always likes to leave that pick for him until last. Yesterday, we actually saw them do that differently, and against Meet Your Makers in the week before as well. They actually picked it halfway through, but it looks like they're going to be returning to that now that they're on the red side here and going for a possible Orianna last pick.
He's been playing a lot of Orianna lately, and I kind of want to touch on the Ryze real quick before this gets locked in, because Ryze is a really good counter to Vayne. Just because you're mid-range, you've got the same spell range versus her auto-attack range, so you can lock her down, and if Vayne can't move around, can't kite, then she's easy to kill, and especially with the whole lineup that Fnatic has. But it looks like that Orianna does get locked in here, so Oslo going to be on this pretty much famous Orianna, and I'm actually trying to think, because I don't know if this works, but if you put the ball on the Sandra and she uses her, initiate her E to get in, does it stick with her?
Yeah.
Huh, so that is a possibility for a ball delivery system.
I am saying that. I'm believing in myself here on this one. I
believe so.
You're the Rhythmist guy, so you should be telling me the answer to this one. But we're going to find out about that one. Kevin obviously playing this Lissandra in the top lane. It's going to be Ryze versus Orianna in the middle. Xpeke is going for teleport right now. And now if you think back to halfway through roughly of that spring split where Alexic had a bit of a phase with Ryze where he'd always run that teleport with him, and he was always, ward at the back of the team when they were fighting and just coming in from the other side and really causing some problems with that teleport Ryze. We'll see if they can go about it here as well. As a bit of a cheeky grin there from Cyanide just before we get underway.
And yeah, I mean, we've been seeing a lot of people switching over to teleport middle. Like Charu kind of is creating like a fad here by everyone running it, because it's so strong, but it's really interesting to see how different people use it differently. So there's like kind of two things that have really come through with it. So one of them is you be really aggressive early on, you make ganks happen in lanes. The other version of it is you keep it for more late game where you can get that split push pressure on and then kind of join the fight a little bit later. So Xpeke, he's been more towards the former of those two, really trying to interact quite a bit, and I wonder if he's going to keep doing that here.
Well, we're going to find out here in just a short time as we start to load ourselves up into the game. Ocelot, by the way, today not wearing a scarf. I'm not sure if that's more to do with the fact that it's absolutely boiling in Cologne right now, or the fact that he's ditched this whole scarf thing going forward and said, you know what, without the scarf, maybe we're going to be stronger in this one. But
well, we'll
have to see about it.
It's like Arne said, when he doesn't wear his belt, they win games. So maybe if he doesn't wear a scarf, they're going to win some games. We're only going to find out.
I think it's a placebo thing, but I'm not sure about that one. We are going to be jumping into game here. Nonetheless, though, you can see there SK Gaming on your screen, all concentrated here, looking for a victory against Fnatic. But they, of course, have a bit of a woeful record in this El Clasico matchup. They've picked up just that single victory for 19 losses, and they'll be hoping that it doesn't move to 20 here today.
I don't know. I don't think Oslo would agree with that, because in his mind, they're stomping Fnatic. They're 1-0, yeah. So let's see what happens, as you heard in the video. But, I mean, you're definitely right. 19-1. That is such a huge, I don't know, like confidence booster to Fnatic. But then again, SK picking up that win 2 weeks ago has to make them want this game even more to show that, yeah, we can consistently beat you, Fnatic. And right now, they're grouping up bottom here, and looks like Yellowstar's just going to ward up and head towards that top side. So he will be safe here.
That ward could actually be key here, depending on what SK Gaming decide to do, and they're actually going to walk over the top of it. So, as I said, very, very key ward there. They know exactly where SK are, but look at this. SK, they've not put a single ward down on the entire map up until now. Obviously, the only man with wards now at this point is going to be Nif, the support player, so we'll see exactly what Fnatic decide to do. They see SK now headed back over the top of that ward. They see them stood right on top of it. SK have no idea where Fnatic are.
Oh, this is going to be so deadly right here, because we can see a major fight break out. And honestly, I don't know which team will be strong in the situation if they do go for it, but this will give one team such a huge lead if they do go for it. And if they actually back away, if Kenny Panda and Nif are backing away to go towards top lane, then that would mean only 3 members would be sitting at this red, and that was an easy triple kill.
Well, Kevin is going to recall. I was just waiting for that one to actually finish happening right there. Fnatic are still waiting. SK have put a ward down here on that top side, so they're actually going to see Fnatic coming around for this one. The good thing for Fnatic is that they're probably going to secure this buff. SK are retreating completely.
And the thing is, it actually stops Hercubot from counter-jungling Cyanide, and also gives Cyanide a little bit of an early advantage just because he already is at his buff. He's already going to be able to take it. But I want to see how will Hercubot interacts early on, because, I mean, we've seen Arna play quite a bit where he loves to be very aggressive early, make plays happen. But then we've also seen some games where if you shut down a Lee Sin or even Evelyn like we saw last game, then he has a really hard time interacting.
Getting a big amount of help there. We can see the SOAS statistic that I pointed out earlier on. 75% win ratio with that Spider in the top lane going up against Lissandra, another champion that SOAS has already played here in this summer split. And just a point here as well, Yellow Star sporting the Muse Sona skin, which is soon to be retired, so make sure you get your hands on that one.
That's interesting. And I think what's even funnier is that Yellow Star used to be the ADK for SK, and now you have Nif battling him out as support here, so it's kind of a little bit funny to see what happens. But as you see right there, SK, a good start to their trade.
Yeah, good start for that one. Pushu taking quite a lot of damage. We've just seen Hercubot actually getting his red buff up. And we see Jarvan waiting in the wings as we are going to see them going in on towards Kevin. Are they going to be able to actually finish him off? And that's the beauty of that Lissandra, the mobility that she has.
And if Sane waited like half a second longer, he actually might have been able to see Hercubot come right through that trap, pick up a kill, but a nice bubble lands on Pushu.
Yeah, Pushu in trouble from this one. He's actually going to be forced to burn his barrier, but look at Candy Panda. He goes low. He's used barrier, flash away from both. Yellow Star going to flash in, but he missed it. He didn't actually time his auto attack there well enough. And Candy Panda's going to get away. And look at Nip. He's hammering away on Yellow Star right now. Candy Panda a little bit scared of getting in, especially now as Xpeke going to teleport down to this bottom lane. There's a tumble away from Candy Panda. And there was a whole lot of action and no kills.
Yeah, and Xpeke burning that teleport, and we talked about him trying to be very aggressive, that likes to make a lot of plays happen right now, and unfortunately it didn't work out for him.
And that's another statistic for Ocelot's Orianna. Picked up 5 times, only a 40% win ratio though. Not the greatest of statistics for that one, so we'll have to see how this game goes for him. We'll see El Clasico. Whilst it means technically the same as every other game in the league, it's Fnatic versus SK. This game means a whole lot more.
Yes, yeah, it definitely does, especially to the people who are playing this game, considering the long history between the two. But so far, we actually have a nice CS lead for Ocelot, considering Xpeke did use that teleport and did have to leave lane. And we do see Cyanide, he's sticking around. He wants to make something happen on Ocelot. And you see him, he's hugging that top side right now because he knows that Hercubot's right there. And he knows if he does need to get out from a gank, he has a safety net.
Yeah, I'd say a bit of damage exchange between the two mid laners. Hercubot just coming in, giving Ocelot that extra bit of shield. Force Xpeke to stop attacking him. AD carries, they've been very, very lively in this one as Ocelot again takes a burst from Xpeke. Offers a little bit back up there. And it's a bit of a back and forth, this bottom lane, this middle lane. Hercubot did just come down, but with the retreat there of Fnatic, it's pretty clear that he's gone over a ward. Well,
the thing is, he saw Cyanide coming down from middle through a ward over by the red bush, so he knew that Cyanide would try to go for a bottom lane gank, so he's just getting there in preparation, but SOAS being very aggressive on Kevin here.
Gonna go into him, but I don't think he's got the damage. That cocoon might change things up, though. It's a good portion as Ignite goes in as well. SOAS is gonna flash for this one, but is he gonna be able to turn things around? Kevin thought about coming back in onto this one, and in the end, Summoner's burnt across the board, but no first blood.
Wow, and that was a really aggressive flash. So I was almost dying under that turret, but obviously was able to escape here. And with having no flash up right now, Hercubot's coming around the side to go for a gank.
And Ocelot and Xpeke there again, just facing off in that mid lane. And Ocelot's winning out in terms of the farm as Hercubot comes across there onto SOAS, gets a cocoon for his pleasure, and will end up just backing away from it. But there's a big disparity there in the farm. A 10-12 CS lead already carving itself out for Ocelot.
Yeah, I was looking at items too, is that Xpeke, he didn't go for any sort of mana or mana regen item as his first buy coming into the lanes, which you typically will see on a Rise. He went for boots because he wanted to be able to dodge the ball coming out of Ocelot, but that means his tier is going to be a little bit more delayed, his house is going to be a little bit more delayed, and Ocelot can use that to his advantage. If Hercubot can come in for a gank, that could be that first blood.
Well, lots of ifs and buts right now. This game's staying very, very entertaining at the start. Pushu once again puts that a bit of damage on towards Candy Panda. These two being pretty volatile in this bottom lane up until now. As Hercubot once again visits top lane. Cyanide going to get into the brush as well. So this could end up being a 2-on-2 encounter as a lot of damage comes into Soaz. The Q from Hercule actually missing as we see Cyanide going to be falling into the middle of the pack. Soaz has gone very low here. He needs to be careful about when he comes back into it as the ultimate gets used on towards Cyanide. He has to flash away as Hercule gets in there as well. They've locked up Soaz. Last second repel comes out, but they won't be able to save it, and he might go down here as well. Q has connected. Hercule goes flying under the turret. He waited for the last hit on Kevin. I don't know why he didn't go in there. He waited for Kevin to get the turret aggro before he followed up the Q.
What? I'm so confused why that just happened, but either way, they still get first blood, they still get 2 kills, but you did see that kill go over to Cyanide, and wow, Kevin getting so lucky right there, hitting level 6 while chasing them down, being able to use the ult on the Cyanide, and eventually being able to pick up the kills.
Yeah, we always like to say that that was definitely calculated from Kevin, but, you know, in the heat of the moment, sometimes you do hit level 6 just as it happens to count for you. But that is a nice couple of kills, and obviously they did die in the end. Picked up second Doran's blade, Doran's rings there, and I think he started Crystalline Flask there as well. Yes, he did, because I saw that earlier in the team, and he was only niff with wards when I looked. So, started with a Crystalline Flask, double Doran's ring he went in. That's how my brain works sometimes. I have to go through the steps. And a Negatron cloak coming out as well.
But Hercule is trying to go for some counter jungling right here. They do see Cyanide right there, currently sitting on that ward, and Cyanide doesn't know it. They do just kick him away, and he does smite and take it. So, good job to keep that away from Cyanide, or more importantly, keeping it away from Xpeke, because a Rise with blue buff, that's pretty much a necessity on him for him to stack his tier, which at the moment he currently doesn't even have.
And it seems a bit flustered there in that mid lane, Xpeke. We just saw him missing a couple of CS. That's something that you can't afford to be doing right now. He's fell behind to 22 CS, actually, of that of Ocelot, who's now going to be getting a blue buff of his own, and SK will be thinking, well, that's a very nice little step on that front. Obviously, top lane, we did see Soaz go down once, got an assist after that death of Kevin, but you know, his opponent's got more farm, and he's got that kill in there. And with that Negatron cloak, Soaz shouldn't be able to really kill him now. Yeah,
definitely shouldn't be able to burst him at all. And SK, they've had, honestly, a very strong start just from that blue buff being taken away. But Soaz, he's sitting towards the top side here. And Kevin, he's not going to go for a fight, but I don't know. I feel like something's going to break out really soon. That's going to just cause a lot of kills to come in.
Cubot getting himself that red buff as well. If we look down some of the items, let's look at the AD carries, because despite that crazy start to the game, they've actually been pretty quiet from that, as you just saw Peke teleport in so as to not miss as much as he could in that mid lane. He's now got that tier working up, also got the Catalyst in there as well, so he's going to have that extra every time that he levels up to keep him a little bit safer in this lane, of course working his way up towards that typical Rod of Ages. But back to the AD carries where I was trying to get out from. BF saw double Doran's Blade coming out for Pushu's. Varus compare that over to the double Doran's Blade, Dagger, and the Vamp Scepter for Candy Panda.
Looks like Candy Panda will be going for that Bilgewater Cutlass into that Blade of the Rune King, as Cyanide did come in for a gank here, but to be honest, Cyanide hasn't been really super effective just yet in any of his ganks. Obviously, we did see top lane where he came in a little bit too late, which ended up costing him and his partner's life, but I don't know. I mean, Hercule hasn't also been that effective yet either, but he is coming around bottom here. Looks like he might potentially want to go in, or maybe he's just trying to counter gank Cyanide.
Well, they are going to manage to bubble up here onto one. Candy Panda going to get caught up in the chain of corruption as a crescendo comes across. Hercule goes flying to Pushu. It's a big mess. He kicks him out. That's a kill for Candy Panda. That was a Cataclysm down by Cyanide, but he'll have to quickly cancel that one out so the rest of his team could actually get away. And that will be another 1 for 0 coming out. A brilliant move from Hercule to get that kick onto Pushu back into his team.
And in that fight, Cyanide actually knocked Hercule up while he was queuing to Pushu, so he didn't get the extra damage from that. And obviously, it didn't matter anyways, as Hercule just flashed behind him and kicked it. But wow, that was really great timing. And it looks like they're going to be able to pick up a dragon off of this, and that's what they have to do. SK, I mean, if they can get a kill, get a gank off, and then just go for objective right after, they're going to get a really nice, strong lead that they already currently have in all their lanes.
I just saw Cyanide at the back put a ward in there and think about, you know, his usual Cyanide-esque steals, but that didn't quite work out for him this time, and they decided to leave it in the end. So SK picking up the first dragon of the game. They have a 3.1 thousand gold lead. It's not quite the almost 10k that we had, I think, at this stage between in our last game where we saw Gambit going down to a very informed looking NIP, as Pushu here going to get caught out in the bottom lane anyway. Candy Panda gets himself a second kill.
And And I like seeing a lot of different people play similar champions. For instance, Hercubot. He's playing Lee Sin, which we've seen a couple of different builds, but it usually revolves around that Razor coming in and then following up with that Ruby Sightstone. But he went straight for that Spirit of the Ancient Golem. He went straight for that tankiness, so he doesn't have as much damage behind him, but let's see how it's going to work out for him. And yeah, Candy Panda, great job by him. Now 2 kills up. The thing is, he's ahead in CS, he's ahead in kills. He's going to become so hard for Fnatic to deal with, but luckily for them, they do have that Ryze, they do have that Jarvan, and even, to be honest, just a whole team full of CC to lock him down.
Yeah, that's not what you want to see on a Vayne. Obviously, it is if you've got Vayne in your team. But for their opponents, for Fnatic's side of things, 20 CS in lead, 2 kills to his name. That's very, very dangerous here. We're only 12 minutes into this game as well. So I'm still lying about 10 CS behind that of Kevin. Is Hercubot going to come in? They lock him up with the ultimate. Can they get the finisher? There's the kick. A repel comes down. And Soaz tries to get away from this one, but Kevin going to finish him off.
Great job by Hercubot just to wait around long enough for him to come into lane, end up picking up the kill. They're going to push this turret now, and it's 5-1 currently for SK, doing a great job. And, you know, going back to that Vayne really quickly, as we do see Kevin take some damage from Xpeke, but I don't think they're committed to this, is that Candy Panda was 3-0 yesterday on his Vayne, but they still ended up losing, unfortunately, so we can't get ahead of ourselves just yet. But with the way SK's playing, just around the map entirely, with picking up Dragon, going for some damage on the turrets, with the ganks they've been pulling off, they're playing pretty damn good.
They are looking very, very strong. And this is a determination from SK. Actually, we shared a ride home with them last night. Now, it was very kind of solemn, that whole ride home, very quiet. And, you know, that's what SK do, you know. They don't talk too much after a game. It's a go home, let's think about this, let's prepare properly for the next game that's going to be coming up. And right now, looks like they've been doing fantastic work overnight because they're looking in a different class today.
And the thing is, what's really weird is that Ocelot's usually the person that's vocal about it to us, saying, you know, I want to get home, I want to practice, I want to look what happened, and look at the demo, see what went wrong. But it was Nif. He was in the back of the car, and I heard him saying, like, that asked if he wants to go out at all, and he's like, no, I just want to go home, I want to get better. Like, I want to get better, and that sign of Nif just stepping up doing that is phenomenal.
Yeah, and showing as well, he's #1 rank on the EUS solo queue right now, and not bad for a support to be, to be getting up there on that one as well, doing a fantastic job. Let's get back into that mid lane action. Obviously, not seen too much of it, and we've had a switch as well. Since that death in the top lane, Soaz, I think, got bored of being ganked, and has come down to this middle lane to try and get himself some extra farm there. He's put, obviously, Xpeke then into the top lane to go up against Kevin's Lissandra.
I think Darian's watching this, like, tired of being ganked. You're only 0-2. I was like 0-7 at this point of the game. So, but yeah, as soon as he switched up, he wants to get a little bit of free farm here, and it's going to help out quite a bit, but okay, what's he going to build towards? It looks like he actually will go for his Rada Aegis first. Hercubot, he's waiting on the backside, but remember, they did see that ward go down, and he's not able to make a play happen just yet. But so, SK still 1 turret up, still 1 dragon up, 4 kills up, and having that nice about 5,000 gold lead. It's just about how they kind of use this to their advantage, because if they look at CS, I mean, look at that quote-unquote middle lane difference with Ocelot versus Xpeke. 167 to 116. That is ridiculous, and we all know how strong an Orianna can be if she does not get put behind, if she's allowed to free farm like this.
If she hits the shockwaves.
That is also true.
That is one thing it really comes down to, you know, a miss or a hit with the shockwave can decide if you go, you know, win a team fight or not. And we'll see how on form Ocelot is with that a little bit later on once we get towards that team fighting stage. Probably not going to be too far away, as obviously those turrets have started to fall in here again. The current gold lead, 5,000 and a bit for SK Gaming, so looking very, very strong. 15 minutes into this game. The question is, though, can they hold on to it? And the funny thing is, in the video we heard before this game, Fnatic admitted that, you know, some of the games that they've won against SK, they probably shouldn't have. They'd fallen behind. They were, you know, got a little bit too cocky, or SK got a little bit too cocky, or weren't decisive enough, and ended up losing those games here as Soaz. Is he trying to bait them out?
He doesn't know they're
SK
there, though.
Decided, you know what? We're not going to go for that.
His back away smartly, but I mean, yeah, I mean, we could all agree that Fnatic should not have won those games, but you always have Ocelot saying to us that just for some reason around that 40-minute mark, someone just seems to throw and we lose the game against him. But as you saw in that 60-minute game with 4 Barons taken by SK last time, they were able to pull that one out. And Xpeke, he's going head-to-head against Kevin.
Yeah, he is. He's putting down a lot of damage onto him. Got him to half with that one combo coming out. And that might be the key from SK, you know, if that happens to them over and over at 40 minutes, don't let it go quite that long. That might be the key here for them to actually picking up a victory. Right now, Fnatic are pushing in on towards that top turret. Ocelot and Hercubot still, you know, sorting out that two-man roaming gank team, trying to get in there on the action. They've not really been too successful with that one. Obviously, Soaz was there and was able to get away from them before.
And something that I really would know if SK's fixed overnight is the fact that they played Lemondogs yesterday, ended up losing to him, but the thing was, they shut down Zoro, who was playing Ryze in the top lane very well. But then they let him free farm. They let him catch up in CS completely, and he was also the key reason that they ended up coming back and winning that game. So has SK fixed that overnight? Are they going to let Xpeke free farm in the top lane? Because right now he's starting to catch up here in CS a little bit.
Well, SK are looking for complete control of the map objectives here, and they're going for Dragon number 2. Fnatic aren't really in a position to do anything about it, and that will be second Dragon of the game and a 5,000 gold lead. But they need to reply to this. They can't lose that mid turret.
It looks like they will be able to get there in time. I was actually expecting SK to maybe go for a fight, but unluckily for them, Yostar did have enough warriors down to spot that happening, but still, that's 2 dragons being taken away, and Fnatic, they're even being counter jungled. You saw that one small Wraith up.
Look at the CS now, it's 60, let's call it, between Ryze and Orianna. So we'll see if they are able to stop Xpeke really farming himself back into this game. The difference between Elise and Lissandra is now pretty much bang even, so Soaz's lane switch there has really given him a little bit of time to work on that one. Between the AD carries, 135 to 149, so there still is a disparity, but actually Pushu's done a good job of bringing that one back. It was looking to be a bit more severe earlier on.
Yeah, and considering Candy Panda has that Blade of the Rune King done, that makes her 1v1 potential so much higher, so he's definitely been doing a great job farming up, staying range as much as possible. With that Bloodthirster, going to be healing up enough. Not to mention Yellowstar's been giving some good support, but Cyanide, it looks like he actually did sneak in there, but Kevin, actually no, he didn't, sorry, he was standing on the ward, his just portrait was covering it, but Kevin did back away in time, and Hercubot going to get interrupted, and he's like, come on, really? You didn't even attack me, you're just going to cocoon me and walk away?
Max range cocoon, just be annoying there to stop him from recalling. Right now SK pushing down towards that turret. It's taking a bit of damage, but not really much more than a tickling here as we see Soaz going on towards Ocelot. There is a cocoon landing, but they'd already turned away, and now Hercubot's actually coming in from the side. I think he was itching to press Q there and then getting on top of him and kicking backwards in towards Ocelot, but
I think he was yelling ball.
Yeah, SK are really right now playing things safe. We saw that one earlier on where Soaz was recalled in the mid lane and they were in the brush off to the side. And that's a kill that, you know, sometimes you'd see SK going for it, and they're bringing out an edgy kind of play style here that they obviously don't want to be making any mistakes now or later on in the game, as Xpeke going to get in here on towards Kevin, the Rune Prison, stopping him from getting away as he uses his ultimate. There's Cataclysm down. Don't think it was really needed, but it gets used, and that's a kill back for Fnatic. Kevin out of position.
And more importantly, the kill goes over to Xpeke, who's already far behind, so he's going to get a lot stronger. But in the meantime, SK, they're pushing that bottom turret, and honestly, they should be able to pick this one up here, so that should take them 3-1 in turrets. But still, Fnatic holding on quite well right now, and a lot of big items coming in as well. So the Rod Aegis is done, that one's stacking up. The Abyssal Scepter done on a Soaz, so it's going to make Ryze even stronger since he doesn't buy the Sword Boots, just to kind of get the extra longevity in the fights. And even the Haunting Guys, so Soaz going for his patented penetration build here. We'll pick up the Sword Boots really soon here, but Yellowstar might get caught.
Oh, he's going to be in a lot of trouble. That's a great crescendo. Here comes the Chain of Corruption, and they're going to go for the fight on this one. Yellowstar did go very low, but they've got the kill on Nif. Peke picks that one up, and Fnatic are going to go hunting here. Cyanide going to get destroyed by the shockwave coming out from Ocelot. Will they keep pushing over for this one? Ward over from Soaz to check out the situation, and they decide to back up.
That was such a great crescendo and follow-up by Pushu, but they weren't able to make anything happen. Now Hercubot will take his damage here, but it's only Sin. He can escape pretty easily. So in the end, it was only a 1-for-1, but honestly, it could have been like a 0-for-3 for SK if Yellowstar didn't get that perfect crescendo off.
Yeah, it was a fantastic crescendo, saving them, no doubt about that one. So that leaves us at 6-3 in kills. SK still got turret advantage. They've had both dragons up until this point, and they've got a gold advantage from that. I mean, the farm, we can check back onto it now, 180 to 240. So it's hanging still around that 60 CS mark as Peke going to catch Kevin out here once again. Already half of his health gone, and Peke is going to get ulted in there by Kevin. Peke right now doesn't have a flash to really continue with this one. He's obviously going to get slowed by Kevin as he chases as well, and I think he's decided, should I keep going? Yes, he should, because there's a spider crawling its way up the river here, and Kevin now becomes in all kinds of danger. There is the push away from Kevin, and there is a repel to follow up from Soaz. Gets kicked away, well, in comes Cyanide from the side, and while Hercubot is Lee Sin, one of the reasons why we all love to hate him, that mobility is just too damn high.
I don't love to hate him. I just plain hate Lee Sin every time. But yeah, it was a good job for Kevin to escape there. Wasn't being knocked down, but we just saw XPK's damage. I mean, in the fight previously, he didn't do that much, but in like one little bit of a combo, he got Kevin down to half health, so great job by them. He actually did go for his Archangel Staff early before it was completed. But looking at items just really quickly, because there's two key things I wanted to point out. Hercubot has his Aegis, so he's going to get that Runic Bulwark very soon, which means obviously he's going to have more magic resist for everyone on his team. But then you look at Candy Panda, he has his QSS done already. We saw last time in the game versus Leminox, he went for his Blade of the Rune King, Azeel into a QSS, so this time, maybe SK wants to go for fights soon, like some team fights happening right now, which is why they'd have these items a little bit earlier.
Yeah, it's taking them ages to get that. Probably needed it earlier, like you said. Taking them ages to get that? Never mind, Jason. Went straight over the top
Freak
of your
is
head.
making all of our puns bad right now.
Yeah, so that QSS in there, as you said, needlessly large rod. It's all freak.
It took needlessly too many 8. No, I'm done.
It really is Freak's influence bringing us down here in Europe. Needlessly large rod in there as well for Kevin. So we saw those little 1v1s that he was having earlier on with Rise towards that top side. We'll see how that one all starts to develop now that one's in there. The thing is, Candy Panda, you know, because he's not going in for that damage here, it's going to probably hinder him, at least at this point, but the fact is if he's dead anyway, then he's got no damage. So,
exactly.
You know, it's kind of a trade up there on that front.
And the thing is, he went for his Silver Bolts to level first, so he's going to be doing, obviously, that % true damage to whichever target hits 3 times, which right now, I mean, you look at XPK, you look at Sana, you look at Soaz, they're going to get very tanky very soon, so he has to have that damage, and I know SK sit on top of Ward, and this could be bad for them, but they're just waiting for that Dragon to spawn. This one will be the 3rd of the game for them. And it looks like Fnatic is just going to give this one away yet again, but they might actually push middle here and try to get that turret in the meantime.
You'd expect them to do something about this one, to be honest, because they've given away Dragon number 3. This is one thing that they're doing. Rise, split pushing. Don't hear that phrase come out too often, although, to be fair, the most successful Rise we've seen so far have somehow managed to do it anyway. Obviously, Alex is the one that really comes to mind in that game against Alternate, where Pharrell was away. They do manage to stop that one from actually happening, but now he is slowly but surely, I say, coming back in. It's still hanging at 60 CS, so Ocelot is still making sure that he doesn't get caught up to, even if Rise is still managing to farm.
And that's the thing, like, XPK left that lane just so he could farm better, but he still hasn't closed the gap. It hasn't even really changed, and so it's also, he's aware of this, like last time, or for the game yesterday against Leminox, and that death cap almost done. Like, they've got to be going for a fight soon. Like, they have to be making some sort of play. But then again, last time these two teams met 2 weeks ago, we saw how hesitant SK was to go for a team fight, even though they had that advantage. It took them 4 Barons to feel confident enough to win the game.
4 Barons is a lot of Barons, but something we've become used to seeing with some of these teams that, you know, and especially I think that the likelihood could be quite high in a game like this, where SK have said we've thrown it in the later stages of some of these games, and you know, good old Baron is something that can certainly assist in that kind of factor. They're going to want to be very, very safe about pushing for a victory.
And that's what's funny, is they have the most Barons taken out of any team in European LCS for the summer split, sitting at 10, which the next closest I believe is around 9 or 8. And the thing is, that might just all be due to the 4 Barons they got that game, but we've seen how many times the quote-unquote new bag draws teams in for a loss.
Currently, SK pushing down that middle lane. Rise up at the top. Actually, XPK going to have to recall from this one. The presence of pretty much Soaz there, forcing them away from that one, and they decide, nope, we're not going to go in for that one. They're just going to back off. It's 6,000 now, or 7,000. Wow, my math is just incredible these days.
So Freak's affecting our puns and our math.
No, my math's always been bad,
okay.
That's for sure. 7,000 gold is the difference right now that SK and Fnatic have between them. And, you know, that is slowly but surely getting bigger. They're making sure that they get these dragons, which is the, you know, the key to adding on that 1,000 here and there onto what they're doing. But the fact is, Fnatic can sit back and do a little bit of free farming now.
And that's what I'm thinking right now is, are SK waiting too long? We saw Meechmakers vs Lemondogs 2 weeks ago where they had a 20,000 gold lead and we're still hesitant to make some team fights happen. And they had a 10,000 gold lead before, but the thing is, they let the game go on so long that Lemondogs were able to farm back up. And SK, they might be doing the same thing with Fnatic. So it's like they're just going to ward up that Baron and back away. But all 5 members are technically pretty much grouped up here, so we might see a fight break out.
Well, Fnatic are in mid, of course. That teleport of Xpeke can bring them straight back up into a fight. And there's a tidal wave coming over. It won't quite catch anyone there at the end. Yellow Star just getting out of the surf before he gets drowned. And, well, he stays safe on that. No fight, but there is a long range on it. It's not exactly the fastest moving of things.
Yeah, it's kind of like a Magikarp splash. Doesn't really do much when you see it coming at you, but he's going to clear the ward. He still has the Orca, though, so it's like a battle of vision. And we have to point out, Yellow Star, when he first moved to support for Fnatic, he got caught out so many times clearing wards out, but we're seeing right now a completely different Yellow Star where he's actually being a little bit more hesitant. He's not just running in there, he's waiting, you know, for his team to back him up because he knows he is a crucial part to the entire combo of Fnatic, and if he dies, that will most likely be a lost fight for them.
Yeah, he needs to get that crescendo off. That's, you know, if he dies afterwards, okay, but
as long as he gets it off.
The crescendo off and in the right place, then pretty much done his job for that fight, and then it's up to the rest of his team to really be laying down all that damage. At this point now, it's kind of a back and forth here. The fact that Baron has started to get a few more wards attracted to it to get that vision high and make sure they can see if there's any sneaky attempts coming in tells me that we're probably not too long away from seeing a fight around Baron. Obviously, for now, it's fights around wards.
But right now, look at Xpeke. He's pushing the bottom. He's only has a 40 CS difference between Osla and SK starting this Baron up. No vision on it out of Fnatic here. And I'm not even sure they know what's happening. I mean, you're seeing start coming around, but they could just turn on very quick. It's a 2-man Baron.
This is pretty risky from SK Gaming, but they're going to keep doing it. They've got that shield coming in. Cyanide comes around the side, and they know now what's going on. Nif is going to get rid of the pink ward. Candy Panda is still doing Baron, and I think they wanted to finish it off there, but they were like, no, do not risk that one. Just get away from it. We're not even going to play that game. And Fnatic come in, clear out a couple of wards of their own, and start putting some down.
The thing is, what's so dangerous about both teams doing Baron is the fact that you're running double AP comp, and Baron gives you that magic amplification damage or debuff onto you. So if the enemy team engages upon you with a Rise, who surprisingly does a lot of AoE damage when he has the ultimate popped, or even for SK side, if they do catch Fnatic in there with the Orianna ultimate and Kevin on his Lissandra, like their team is going to die. So both teams have to be very, very hesitant for this. And I wouldn't be surprised actually if you'd see the game finish without a Baron.
Look at how things have gone since the last time I made a math mistake. It was 7,000 gold then. It's now 6,000 only. So, you know, that gap has actually closed by 1,000 gold here in the last couple of minutes. As another turret actually goes down there, and that's just going to bring it even closer to this one. So SK, no, they're not that far ahead at this point, and they need to be careful. Whilst they've got an advantage, and that's the great the thing that makes you a great team. You know, realizing when you got an advantage and using it.
Exactly, and we're running into the thing of, as mentioned with Demon yesterday, is that the older teams that went to split versus the newer teams, where the newer teams, they're kind of like, all right, we'll play as if this is a scrim. We're going to play like there's no tomorrow. I mean, yeah, if we make a mistake, so what? But we're not going to play too cautious to pretty much lose the game. And the older teams, they kind of don't seem to do that anymore. And it can really make a game go either way, even if you have that, that early lead, which they did completely have between Asa and Xpeke, where that CS gap has completely closed. The Spirit Visage now done for Xpeke. He is a tanky beast now, and it's going to be hard for SK to deal with him. But then you do have Candy Panda, who gets only stronger as the game goes on, went for that Phantom Dancer with the QSS, so his damage will be pretty high right now, and it looks like they are poising for Baron again.
Yeah, all those CS leads have gone for SK. I mean, look at the AD carries now. Pretty much bang even. It's gone from being 60 CS between Rise and Orianna to being a very close 40 at this point, with Rise still doing a lot of pushing here. Is Xpeke going to get in on towards Nif? There's a tidal wave. Xpeke sidesteps it. Nif tries to predict for the bubble, but that didn't work out for him. But yeah, look at the top lane as well. Soaz is now actually 30 CS almost ahead, so that gap, it's very much closing, and Fnatic have just picked up a dragon for free.
Yeah,
How do you get a free dragon when it's been controlled by SK this entire time? They have the lead. They've simply given it away.
Yeah, and they had, what, 7,000 gold lead? and within 3 to 5 minutes, it's completely closed down to about 5,000, or even actually no 4,000. So the lead that SK had is slowly slipping away. Luckily for them, they do have a lot of major items completed, and you can't let that mental block of knowing that you're 1-19 against Fnatic stop you, and I think that might be something that's affecting them.
Well, both teams you can see are, I mean, it's SK that are very stagnant at this point. They're, you know, clearing out these waves that are being pushed back basically by Xpeke and SOAS, and then they kind of default back to this whole, let's just wait in mid lane and for something to happen. Nif gonna clear out a couple of wards, making sure that he doesn't get caught out there. His Hercule bot, and you know, that's pretty much what SK have been sat on now for a good 5 or 6 minutes, maybe even a little bit longer than that one. But right now, they're actually going to Baron here, and they may start it off once again. They've got all 5 men there, but Fnatic aren't far away, even though SOAS is technically out of that fight.
And this is that new bag. This has caused SK so many losses so far as Kevin just trying to zone Cyanide away, and it looks like they're just going to push middle here, so they're going to get another free turret and close that gap even further.
For me, SK needs to fight this one. I mean, that turret's going to go down. Look at Fnatic. They know that they're going to get fought here, and they decide just to back away. And SK, again, that's just a simple positioning win for Fnatic in that one. I mean, SOAS was down at the bottom, so SK were like, yeah, let's do it, let's start Baron. But he comes up there, and because SK have not really committed to that Baron, you see him pushing straight through, taking mid tower. Peke, he's actually pushing the inner bottom turret, whilst on the top side, Vayne is actually coming for that one. Don't forget that Peke does have a teleport to get involved. They're going to trade it in a turret here.
And they can just keep going, because the thing is, Rise is such a slow split pusher in terms of getting turrets down. So if they want, they can go for this turret. And the thing that both teams are having, the problem is trying to siege a turret down in a 5v5, because Fnatic, or for SK for Fnatic, is that they have such a strong engage with the Crescendo, the Varus ultimate with Jarvan coming in, so they can't really siege away with a Vayne. But then again, for Fnatic going against SK, like, they have the Tidal Wave, the Bubble, the Orianna ultimate, the Lissandra engage, and right now, SK took the foot off the pedal, and Xpeke is still punishing him for it.
And, you know, he's actually doing decent amounts of damage to it as well. Yeah, okay, he's no Twisted Fate or Cassidy when it comes to hammering away at buildings, but he is doing a good job of that one. In the end, they send back the AD carry, which, for me, a good idea on paper as well, just to get that farm re-rolling here, so to speak, on Canipan, who's now added that Phantom Dancer into the Blade of the Ruined King QSS that he got earlier on. Looks like he's going in for that last Whisper as well.
And we're in the exact same situation that they were up against yesterday versus Lemon Dogs. Like, Kenny Penna, he hasn't been killed just yet. He has a nice amount of farm, but every minute they let slip by, Fnatic's been just taking more and more of an advantage against them, or at least clawing their way back in further. And I believe like the second or third Oracle we've seen on both supports here is just going to clear out that vision yet again. And both teams can honestly take Baron relatively quickly. It's just about them having, you know, for lack of a better word, just the balls to do it.
Yeah, and that's the problem here, because this game means a lot to both. You know, Fnatic have just seen Gambit lose and thinking, well, we can actually catch up with them really nicely if we beat SK here. And obviously for SK, it's a completely different story, because they're down at the bottom of the table with EG, and they really could do with a win here today, as Yellow Star just stepping out a little bit too far. We already talked about that one in his first week. He was thinking he was a little bit more invincible than he obviously was on paper whilst clearing out wards. But we do see once again that Peke continues to push his way up towards that inhib turret. SK have started off the Baron. Can Fnatic react to this?
Because SK has to punish Fnatic for doing this. They have to punish that Xpeke is there, and we do see them taking some more damage, but they're going to be going for Baron here. It's already relatively low right now, but the thing is, are they going to be able to finish it off? Will Fnatic be able to stop this here? Inside, he's already making his move over there. Nif missed the bubble, but they do get the Baron.
They managed to get Baron. This is big now for SK Gaming as we see them going on towards SOAS. He will actually flash away in the meantime. So Xpeke has taken down the inhibitor turret in that bottom lane, and he's going to put good damage through onto the inhibitor itself. If my eyes don't fail me, I think it's on about half HP there as we see that teleport coming. He goes back to a ward on near his wolf camp, and that will be safe for now. But a good pickup after all for SK Gaming, and they've managed to keep the inhibitor alive. That's the big thing. Okay, they've lost the turret, which in itself is a massive deal, but the inhibitor's still there. There's no super minions coming up.
Yeah, this should be a sign for them just to push bottom. They need to stop Xpeke from constantly pushing that in, and they might decide to go for that here, because now with that Baron, they have the regen, they have the damage. to pretty much siege away at a turret, and it's just all about whether or not they're actually going to do it. Push you double buffed up right now. Infinity Edge, Bloodthirster, Last Whisper. He hasn't even gotten his tier 2 boots yet, so he's going for some pure damage. He's kind of going Genja-esque with no attack speed on Varus. And now Xpeke like, all right, you're going to push bottom. I'll go top lane and start pushing that.
Yeah, it was pretty obvious that was going to happen from Xpeke. Up to just less than 30 CS behind now. So that just shows goes to show how that one has changed. But look at Ocelot's items as well. Rabadon's Death Cap, Void Staff, Athene's Unholy Grail with the Haunting Guys and the Sorcerer Shoes in there as well. He's going to be doing a lot of damage, and we harped on a little bit about Shockwave and how it's going to be the all-important thing, which it probably still will be at the end. The funny thing is that we've not seen a team fight.
Yeah, I was actually just going to point that out. We haven't seen one yet. It's just all about skirmishes and duels, and I don't know, with that Liandry's Torment done for Soaz, if he can keep harassing a little bit, he's going to do some good damage onto SK. As you see Hercubot, that was, I believe, like 2 spells already taking down a good chunk here, and Candypenny's trying to push into this turret here. They have Kevin on the side, so he's going to be the one to really engage over that wall, and if they get that ball in there perfectly, SK technically could win the game right now, because remember, we're 37 minutes in, death timers are extremely long, and all it takes is one good team fight to win a game.
One good team fight, and Kevin off to the side, he's the man to watch here. This is very Pharrell and Lord-esque. We saw him coming from this position earlier on in the season and absolutely decimate his opponents, but will that happen here today? There's Nif getting caught out, Peke now on a killing spree, and that's simply because he had vision of him and he decided, you know what, I can get this guy down and run away before anyone can do anything about it. And they're the kind of opportunities that you can't give freely to Fnatic.
And now by killing Nif, they're pretty much backing away. SK's like, all right, we have Baron, but we still can't fight 5v4. And that Baron pretty much just meant nothing, SK. They didn't get one thing accomplished from that except taking it away from the possibility of Fnatic's grasp. And now Fnatic, they're going to go for Dragon here. So they're going to close this gap, this gold lead even more. And we're almost at a pretty much even game completely across the board, Joe.
Yeah, and that's with that Baron in there as well. I mean, it's really quite incredible how Fnatic have managed to keep a hold on to this one. I think it's partly to do with the fact that the SK have been very, very wary of where they're going to be pushing their advantages and how they're going to do that one. Fnatic challenging here for this Dragon. That's a Baroned up team there that's walking away from that fight. They don't want to get involved with it. That shows how careful SK want to be about this whole game. There is a Dragon going down, and that is less than 3,000 gold now. 2,500 is sitting now.
Not to mention, there's a lot of farm bot lane right now for them to pick up on top of that. And you do have Merchants picked up for push you, so definitely not going for any attack speed. But both teams, like, I really wish I could just get into their mind and see what they're thinking, like why they're not fighting just yet, what's stopping them. Because you never see games go on this long without just some sort of team fight breaking out. But this turret, it will finally fall here, as Push You and Xpeke are both out of position. But are they going to continue? They do have all 5 members here, finally. But that Baron buff is just taken away, and all they've accomplished is that one turret.
Well, it's still a fantastic pickup for SK at the end of the day. I mean, getting the second inner turret down, yes, okay, they've lost an inhib turret themselves. We're bang even now on the turret, so we'll have to see once this Baron's gone, which it actually now has just finally ticked off them, what they're going to be going for. You can see their Vayne, and although it's not so spectacular to watch a champion farm creeps, you can see the amount of damage that's coming out and how quickly it's coming out. Last Whisper now added in there, and now if Candy Panda manages to stay alive once we possibly see a team fight, we could, I suppose, see a game that ends without seeing a single real team fight in it. If we get to that stage, or when we get to that stage, I'm hoping, he's got to be locked down here, because he's going to cause absolute chaos for Fnatic.
And speaking of damage, look at the items that everyone has. Xpeke almost has a full item build. Also almost has a full item build. You see Kevin, he's getting pretty close to it. You see Soaz almost has it. And of course, 80 carries are pretty much there. It's like everyone is going to have these 6 item builds without any team fights breaking out. And any gold lead you had or have or whatever doesn't matter anymore, because it's all about the items. It's all about who could out team fight each other.
I have seen our first person hit 400 CS here 40 minutes in, and that of course is Ocelot up to 406 now with that Orianna. Peke not too far behind him though. That's 30 CS behind currently. That seems to be the rate that he's settled for now. I don't like 60. We're going to halve that to 30 and I'll feel a lot better about it. And that's how he's pretty much gone about that one. This is going to be a blue buff steal here for Kevin. It went over to, I think. I can't quite see it. So yeah, it is circling around in there. So that's going to be that one all sorted out. And it's all going to be about Baron number 2. Pretty much, because, you know, you said it earlier on, SK, most amount of Barons so far in the summer split of the LCS. So you can expect more than one Baron from them per game, and especially in this game, which just dictates the fact that we'll be seeing more than one, maybe even more than 2 in the long run.
And the thing is that SK, like you said, they have the most Barons taken in the summer split of our European LCS, but they're also the 5th slowest team at picking up the first Baron. So it kind of shows that if SK is going to win a game, they usually do it with multiple Barons. Like, they haven't really easily been able to win a game unless it's a stomp without that Baron buff. So Fnatic knows how important it is to them. They're going to actually look to contest it this time, as they're just setting up wards everywhere, clearing out vision. And currently SK doesn't really have any vision around it, and it's going to be up in 30 seconds.
Well, let's see. This could be another case of SK being out positioned, but they've got the beauty of that middle lane is obviously they've taken the inner turret there. If Fnatic outplay them and say, okay, we're going to get Baron, SK with that can take at least the inhibitor down with it as well. So we'll see what they decide to go for. In the end, Fnatic, of course, don't have that Baron at their leisure right now. It's coming up in 5 seconds.
On the flip side of that coin of SK pushing middle after the Baron is that Xpeke, he has his teleport available. If he wants, he can go back to split pushing bottom. He can 1v1 pretty much anyone, I'm pretty sure. And they might be able to get a free inhibitor off it, so that would pull SK away. And if they get a ward down onto Baron, he can just teleport in and join the fight. And that might be the plan that they're going to end up going for.
Well, they're headed Baron side right now. And if, of course, Oracle to clear out, you can see a recall there from Peke. Not quite so significant because his teleport is up and available for use right now. Fnatic coming in around the side here. And this game is balancing on a knife edge right now.
And you see Yellowstar, he actually picked up a Mikhail's Crucible, so he's going to be getting that, you know, free QSS basically to someone and the 15% of their max health as a heal. So depending on who he uses it on, it can really make them pretty strong in a fight. But we do have SK, they're going for Baron here. It's already down to about 2,000 health, and they're going to get this for free.
They are going to take that one for free. That's a massive pickup as they go in. They've managed to catch out Yellowstar here. Puts a good crescendo down, but he's dead. Ocelot picks that one up. A Chain of Corruption just stops them in the tracks there. Pretty much spreading all across the entire team for them. And, you know, that was all about disengage, really, from Fnatic. What they threw down, the crescendo, that Chain of Corruption, was all about to stop them, all about stopping them chasing in. But now SK have Baron number 2. They've just won a decent team fight, and they're going to look for inhib turrets.
And because of the way SK's been doing Baron, starting it, stopping it, not too confident, they just went straight forward. They just manned up like, all right, take it down right now. And you saw, Fnatic wasn't expecting that. They came in a little bit too late, and it cost them that fight. But we do see the QSS actually used by Candy Panda, so Fnatic, if they wait a little bit longer, they might be able to actually go for a fight here. SK has to be very careful. If they lose this fight with the Baron, they're going to lose at least one inhibitor.
Yeah, but that was without a Shockwave from Ocelot as well. He did not use Shockwave in that last battle, so we'll have to see. You know, that in itself, not just the damage, but the crowd control that's going to bring straight in there, dragging them all down, is going to be a massive thing for SK. But it seems like Fnatic have actually done enough from this one to force SK away from now. I can't see Fnatic leaving their base and getting caught out by that bush because, well, why? Baron's down. They've got no towers really to push. The waves are pushed against them. I'd be very surprised if they went out that far right now. And you can see that they're actually going bottom side of the map here, where that lane has been pushing.
And it looks like Dragon just coming back up. They might be able to go for that, and also they might be able to push inhibitor down because they're going to have all their CC available here. But like we were saying before, Baroned up SK in a 5-on-5 fight. They should have the advantage right now. But Fnatic, they're back to about a 5,000 gold deficit, but obviously it's going to be closed up here with this Dragon.
It's going to be brought back a little bit from that. SK completely headed themselves home, and there is the Scimitar picked up, added in for Vayne. That's how you say it, by the way, with that cool accent. See what he can bring.
Sorry, what item did he pick up, Joe?
A pickaxe. He's still got that one as well after finishing off his last whisper. But they are waiting here in the tri-bush, and they're looking to catch out SK. This is something that obviously EG did in that famous game against Moscow 5, or Gambit as they're obviously now known, waiting around these brushes inside their opponent's jungle to just completely try and throw them off. But SK, they went with 4 men to secure a blue buff while they've got Baron on. You know, they're not taking any chances here. They're not going to do that.
The thing is, though, if they push out and Fnatic gets vision, they can just run straight up that lane and get the inhibitor. So SK has to be very careful where they do show themselves as instead of 4 men. Now they're like, all right, let's go 5 to red this time just to make sure to secure it. Because right now, they know something's up. They haven't seen Fnatic in a long time. and Fnatic, I'm not sure how much longer this is going to work out for them, but SK, they're going to push middle here, it looks like. And Fnatic, are they going to respond by pushing bottom? Because it might turn into a base race. It's going to turn into a base race.
Well, Sona's recalling from this one. We see Hercubot, Ocelot, and if they're all going to recall,
everyone's
and all
back.
of Fnatic's recalling as well. And it's a big recall party going off in there. Actually, SK decided to stay a little bit for this one. They've still got 4 men actually there. That's Alessandro just putting a ward down towards the back. We'll see if they can actually finish off this turret. Pushu comes around, his piercing arrow is very, very painful at this point in the game. You can see him there hitting for around about 900 on towards the minions. And in the end, what could have been an extremely exciting occurrence didn't occur.
Yeah, I have to apologize for getting people excited right there.
You got me excited.
I was expecting, and then they're like, no, let's back away. We've seen how this can go wrong for teams, quite often. But we're gonna go back to just farming up now, Joe, as we still have that 30 CS difference between Xpeke and Ocelot. And Ocelot almost has his items fully completed. It looks like Xpeke has his done, and everyone still just approaching that full 6-item build. And it's just gonna come down to that one fight. That's all it really needs to be. Just one advantage in a fight. As long as you're not left with just one member, you can pretty much take the game off this. And SK, they're being defensive for the first time in quite a while, as Fnatic wants the one to push up. And that Baron, it's going to be done pretty soon. Actually, it's already done. Yep. So now, what did SK accomplish with the second Baron? Fortunately, nothing. But still, look at it this way. They did take it away from Fnatic having the possibility of taking, so they did at least keep that in their favor.
That is definitely a plus point from their side. See, the Zhonya's really starting to come down. Actually, Kevin had his Zhonya's quite a while ago, which just makes him pretty much impossible to kill anyway, because of obviously how his ultimate works in there. It's almost a mini Zhonya's itself. We've got one over with Elise, with Soaz. We've got one with Ocelot's Orianna. Actually, Ryze, he's up at full 6 items. He might even end up selling Spirit Visage or something as we go further in, although with that double AP, it's always a nice thing to have that extra big chunk of magic resist coming out.
Yeah, and SK right now currently have half the amount of Barons they had in the last time these two teams met. I wonder if we're actually going to hit 4 again, but they are going to go for push bottom here, trying to get this turret, but now, with the presence of Fnatic, it looks like it's enough to push them away.
Or is it? That ball is basically the thing that's scary here for Fnatic, and for me that's one of the annoying things about Orianna, that you don't just have to look at the positioning of the team, you've always got to keep your eye on the ball, because if you go in a wrong position, you're in trouble. And we see right now SK trying to use positional advantage to get in onto that inhib turret. They've taken it down to half, but Fnatic, they've got back around and it's still hanging on.
And with Baron coming up momentarily, it looks like SK are just going to wait for that to come up, then go for another push here. But that was a good job of them. I mean, they pushed bottom for an bottom inner turret, and then ended up getting more damage onto the inhibitor turret. So it's taking, wow, a lot of damage right there. And that is not a good sign for him.
No. Vayne hurts. There's no doubt about that one. Candy Panda is a painful thing right now. It's actually a flag coming down on top of him. That was from Cyanide just at the back of that tower, and they didn't quite manage to get the finisher there. So if we're talking about important towers down at this point, Fnatic actually have the edge on that front.
They do, but unfortunately for them, they don't feel confident enough to leave their base. They've been just pretty much defending for quite a while right now. It looks like SK can go for a little bit of split pushing here, as you see Kevin's damage, able to full clear a wave by himself very quickly with 2 spells. And it looks like this will be a turret finally, which feels like in the last 10 minutes we haven't had one turret go down, and just as I say that, leave it up with a little bit of health.
One more hit. The ball can't do it, Ocelot. And neither can Candy Panda, apparently, trying to get in there. It's just so tempting to just walk in there and get that one down, but Fnatic, you can guarantee, Cyanide in particular, ready and waiting to throw his combo and knock you up. As this next minion wave comes in, SK surely going to be taking down the 3rd and final inner turret. There we go. One final hit is all it took, because we are going to see Kevin coming in. Oh, they flashed away from it though. Chain of Corruption's gone down. Kevin taking a lot of damage there, but Fnatic not really all on the same page there. And they kind of half went in, half went out, and then back in, and it was a bit of a mess overall, but no kills resulting from it. Baron has now spawned. This could be the next target for SK.
And they're going straight for it. They're like barely down. They're trying to actually bait Fnatic in with a, luckily for Yellowstar, he put a ward down over that wall just to spot them. And obviously, they can take it very quickly. They've done that before. And right now, Fnatic has no ward coverage of this. But are SK going to bait this, or are they going to go straight in for it and take it fast? It's up to them. They are going to actually give away the control of it.
But
And it looks like Fnatic was just trying to maybe rush down middle, get the inhibitor, because they could just run straight bottom right now while SK tries to do Baron and finish the game before, or at least get the inhibitor down before SK can get back.
And that just shows, you know, how wary SK are at this point. And then look how far they backed away from that completely. They had complete vision control of that side of the map. And right now, Yellowstar's been allowed to get in there, to clear out, to get wards down on Fnatic zone. And SK are trying to bait this decision. So as we are going to see the flashing on towards Xpeke. He gets ulted up. There's the Zonya's being used, and Ocelot is going to shut down Xpeke. And SK are going to push it.
And that might have been the move that SK was waiting for, because now the rest of Fnatic will be backing away. They're going to be able to get this turret down, which is already low from earlier, and the inhibitor, but are they going to continue to do more? They have over 60 seconds on Xpeke before he comes up. They have a huge advantage for a 5-on-4. And what are they going to go for here?
It looks like they're backing up, to be honest.
And we'll see if they do go for the Baron right off of this right now, because they have a huge advantage in this team fight. Xpeke does have teleport, though. And SK, they're not 100% healthy, but with the damage they have, but with no Oracle, I would not be surprised if they're really hesitant to go in for it.
Yeah, and rightly so. You know, we talk about this these kind of long, drawn-out games where teams are, you know, very critical, or, you know, critically play in terms of no mistakes. That's what we're aiming for. And SK here, when you play that play style, you're not going to go for a Baron when you've not got an Oracle on your team and you can't clear out the vision that the opponents have got, even if you've got a one-man advantage. Nif did go back, has bought himself an Oracle, and is going to be getting back into the game as well here. So they'll start to clear all that one out. Cyanide himself is actually just on the Baron itself right now as he puts a pink ward down. That will probably get lost here, but Ocelot, they're going away from this one. Oh no, they've decided to come back. That was a good decision from SK to stop that recall happening. Fnatic see that SK are there, and they've decided to back off themselves. Very, very tense point of the game.
Something's gonna break here. I was taking a look at Yellowstar's items. They haven't changed in about 10 to 15 minutes. He's been just buying wards up as much as possible, and you see it reflected in the amount of vision that they had around the Baron. But now SK, they're not spotted right here. They might go for the engage. However, Xpeke, he's on the bottom side of them. The rest of Fnatic are pretty much... Wow, that was a lot of damage. That caught me off guard how much it did. But it looks like all Fnatic are going to group up here. And SK, are they really going to back away and go stop this top lane, which is pushing on their inhibitor turret?
I think it could be a mistake here. Lissandra leaving is a massive...
Once she's spotted, this is going to be bad.
It's massive amounts of damage and a fantastic ultimate to come out of it as well. But Fnatic decided not to go for it. They saw Lissandra up there, and right now they're just trying to hold SK back from it.
And they do have super minions pushing down middle right now. They're going to be on the Nexus turrets very soon. And the thing is, because of where they are, they're gathering all the minions, and they're actually going to be killing them one by one. Xpeke, he's the one to back away. He's the one to take those down because he has that teleport up. But Fnatic, they're tangoing around the Baron right now.
This is incredibly tense right now. The team wanting to make any kind of mistake that could, you know, potentially throw the game from them. SK have been in a position like this before. We're 54 minutes into this matchup. Well, a piercing arrow comes through. SK get the ball over the top, see that Fnatic are retreating. They're stood on a ward themselves, though, and they'll realize that there, as Nif is able to clear that one out. And now they start to push through to that middle lane. Of course, there's no inhibitor in that lane. Super minions have already started to come through.
And you just know, Joe, I mean, both of us are sitting here waiting for it. There's like a snap of the finger, and this game is going to be over. Like, a fight is going to go extremely quickly because of everyone's items. And Nepi's going to go back here to Baron. He's going to clear all the vision. And Fnatic, are they going to give up their third Baron of the game? Are they going to try to stop this one? Is SK even going to do it soon? Hopefully we're going to find out here in a couple minutes.
That would have been a nice time for them to do it. Nif was nowhere near. Yellowstar was nowhere near. And they are going to kick things off. Cyanide is at the back, though. He's got his flag down in there. SK, they're still doing Baron here. Cyanide is actually going to go in. They stopped doing Baron, but look at that. He's been pushed over the wall. SK managed to get Baron, and they've taken down Cyanide. Are they going to push in here to finish this game? Soaz is off to the side. If they can just land that single Q in on him here, Hercubot will be able to do all the damage and lock him down from this one. He jumps over towards his minions. Q does land, but he's a bit far away from his team for that to happen. But there's a minute until Cyanide comes back in. This could be it for SK.
And they're going to be pushing out with these super minions here. Candy Panda break it off, trying to go catch. Expect actually he's pushing the top, and they're going to go for another inhibitor turret here, and that will be theirs for free. They already have some good damage onto it, down to about half health with Fnatic. Oh, the way they were standing right there, I was maybe expecting them to all flash over that wall and just go for a fight, but They still have a lot of CC on their side. Like, it's not over yet for Fnatic. They have a lot of control. Pushu needs to go back, needs to get his mana back. He needs to get his ultimate up as well, which is on quite a bit more cooldown. SK still being hesitant to actually go for that tower, and they're going to be going for it here, Joe. Or backing away and wait for the next mini wave. One of the two.
That claw of doom from Kevin coming in is always a thing that Fnatic are going to be scared of. You see him back away every time that's thrown in there. That will be a turret going down, though. Inhibitor should probably follow straight after this. I can't see Fnatic being able to put up too much of a defense. Obviously, they're going to try and poke out, trying to land the cocoon to Candy Panda.
Cyanid's going to come in with home guard boots. They might actually try to go for a fight here because they've managed to hold on to that inhibitor. And they're, I was so expecting that because they can't afford to let this one go. Letting 2 go is so hard to come back from that I don't believe any team in European LCS has really been able to do so far. And they've been able to hold on to it. Their middle inhibitor has respawned, but here comes SK!
They're going to go in on towards Kevin. Cyanide taking a lot of damage, but crucially not going down. Soa's going to go low. He will be finished off as a shockwave hits Pushu at the back. Candy Panda's managed to pull him off, and now they're going to rip Riot here through Fnatic. Peke is in all kinds of trouble. He's going to flash away, even gets condemned away as Hercubot chases down Cyanide. Didn't quite finish him there. He's still got vision of him though, so he's going to keep going through for that one. Inhibitor in the mid lane has actually been finished off. They're going to be pushing on towards those Nexus turrets right now. The first one is going to fall. Xpeke and Yellowstar both coming around the side here. Yellowstar thrown up into the air by the bubble. Can SK finish this one off? Candy Panda hammering away on the Nexus. He's taking a lot of damage, but he condemns Xpeke back, keeps hammering away, and he gets killed off finally here with a Nexus fall.